Shut up and sit down.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Okay. This is like, you know what? I think we made it. I think this is the like high of our career. This movie. I think this is the best we're gonna get.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is probably the best movie we're ever gonna review.
Yeah. What a way to start the year.
Yeah.
Like
starting strong.
First episode of the year 2019 with
you hate
solid
to see
January
that.
movies.
Yeah, you hate to see that just because
I
leaves so little for the rest of the year. How do you follow this up?
We have 11 and a half months left. And
it's over.
And
it's
Will
done.
Ferrell took it from us.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, it was great. It's a great ride while it lasted.
Welcome back, guys, to the Midnight Showing. I'm Dan Connors.
And I'm Bayless Tunnicliffe. So
this showing, we saw Holmes and Watson. And boy, was that did you forget the name of the movie?
Yeah, already.
That's how bad it was.
To be honest, I almost forgot that it was about.
And I always keep thinking it's called Homies because that's on the poster.
Oh yeah,
it says
font.
Homies.
Yeah, the font is really weird.
Well, but that's actually what it says is Homies because like homies, but they spelled it like Holmes, like Sherlock Holmes. What? I know, and so I keep thinking the movie's called Homies.
I don't understand how they spelled it homies, but
well, Holmies, like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
and then like homies. Why do I have to explain this to you?
They didn't put it in a weird situation. Whatever. You know what? Moving on. I'm dumb. Goodness, I'm already lost.
Awful. It was awful.
It was a classic for me. It was a classic Will Ferrell movie, where Will Ferrell movies are pretty awful.
That it was awful.
You know, you go into a Will Ferrell movie not expecting some highbrow comedy, but you know, sometimes you're shocked by how lowbrow it gets.
What does that even mean?
Lowbrow?
Highbrow, lowbrow. What?
Like lowbrow means like dumb humor. Like
how? What does that mean? Like, but why would your brow be high or low if it's dumb or smart?
Well, if you have a lower brow, you look stupider, right? Like, imagine my brow's like down
is that
here.
How it works?
Yeah, I mean, come on. You've seen people with lower brows, and they kind of look.
I don't just assume they're dumb.
Okay, well, well, you're better than the rest of the world. Okay, fine. I mean, it's just a thing that people say. Lowbrow is like kind of crude, not very sophisticated.
So this movie was that.
Yes. It was
it was extremely sophisticated of a movie. I mean, it was set in 1800s England.
Which was hilarious how they kept on throwing in the face the whole sexism thing that was around in the 1800s.
There was a lot of modern politics jokes was in this movie.
There was a lot of shit that should not it only flew because everyone knew Will Ferrell is just a joke.
Yeah.
That's the only reason people were rioting in the streets oh my god, this is the least progressive movie we've seen in years. And it's it's a Will Ferrell movie. Oh wait, okay, never mind.
There's so many jokes about female doctors and stuff. About how that's not how it is.
What does doctor mean in America?
She's I'm a doctor, a real doctor.
Yeah. That was the one line, by the way, that I saw in the trailer before going in, where it's this here, my dear Watson, is a real doctor.
Oh. Would
you like to buy some heroin?
God, since we're talking about when they were introducing the doctor part, that puking scene was too much.
I almost don't want to go into it right now.
Let's go all the way into it.
Let's finish. I want to finish up what you had for opinions on just the movie in general, because I kind of cut you off.
It was awful.
Yeah, but go into it more. Describe.
It was awful.
Did it not meet every one of your wildest expectations?
There was some dumb humor, but there was some parts I laughed at.
Yeah,
because it was just dumb. But I went into it, or not went into it, but I realized that this was just going to be one of those ones that I laugh at. Because it's so stupid,
yeah,
which is probably the point.
I think that's exactly the point.
But even for those movies where you're supposed to laugh at how dumb they are, it was still more dumb than even that. And the funny scenes that you were supposed to laugh hilarity at went on for way too long.
Yeah, to the point that they were uncomfortable. And then it became sections. The second.
There was even sections of them. It was the puking part, when the queen they thought they died part. I'm
gonna admit right now, I loved this movie. You know, it was straight
But you
trash.
hated. But you hated Spider-Verse.
I didn't say I hated it. I said it was a disappointing film.
That's like. But you loved this.
It's like I don't know.
I get it. You like it because it was like dumb fun, and
it was just dumb fun. I didn't. You know, it's nice when the humor. It's so that's why I've always liked Will Ferrell's humor because it's always this kind of thing where they have some mixed parts where it's lowbrow humor and you're supposed to laugh at it because it's funny.
What does that mean?
Oh my god! I was like, oh my!
I know you thought I was serious.
Yeah, I was about to I don't even know how I did, but Will Ferrell's movies are usually like this where they have some lowbrow humor where they. God, I can't stop. I'm gonna think about that every time I say that.
I was about to say it too.
Where sometimes you're just supposed to laugh at it, like the part where he's like rubbing like horse manure on him. I laughed at that part just because. I mean, when he rips
you hated that, like you actually.
Oh, it was
gross.
Reacted. Oh God, could you imagine that? Oh no, miss me with that. Oh,
I don't know. It wouldn't be that like.
What? Okay, we're gonna go do this sometime. Where we're gonna go around England.
No, I just mean like
in the slums of England, where we get shanked for being an outsider.
That guy asked for directions. He just stabs him.
Shut up, outsider! Stabs in the heart. Like,
oh my gosh. I mean, from the very start, that beginning was just that was so dumb.
Oh, it was awful.
Like,
that was probably
it wasn't
my least
even
favorite
like
part of the
funny.
movie. No,
like.
And I knew it was so obvious when they blindfolded him.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna give you a kiss. No, no, that's not this kind of movie.
Well, even before that, when the bullies came up and they're like, "Hey, we're sorry we've been mean to you." No, you're not.
Yeah, no, you're not. She wants to kiss you. No. and then when he's going to kiss him, I'm like, he's gonna kiss the donkey.
Really? I thought it was gonna be.
I knew for a fact he was gonna kiss.
I didn't think about the donkey. I thought it was gonna be like the turtle or something, or like they were gonna hit him. Well, right
that would have been hilarious. If they just straight up smacked his face.
Well, yeah, right behind him, all the kids were holding something. So I thought they were gonna throw all this stuff at him. I thought they were gonna put him right in the middle, and then they were gonna like throw a bunch of stuff at him. That's what I thought.
It's like a reverse pinata.
Yeah,
where they blindfold the pinata and then they turn smacking it. That's just way too cruel. Ugh. But yeah, and my favorite part is he meets Watson and he's like, "You're gonna be a doctor." Really? Yeah, I'm the son of a janitor. Yeah, but you're gonna be a doctor. Like, okay.
That origin story was just like the most ridiculous thing. Where
we haven't seen the origin story
to
before.
Be smart.
This is a side of.
We've seen the origin.
No, we have not.
I don't know. I don't.
Can you think of any origin story for Sherlock? Exactly.
Sherlock Gnomes. There was no origin story.
There was no origin. He's always just there. Winning.
Yeah. But okay, even then, yeah. So we haven't had an origin story. Why did we get this one?
I think it's to show that they're two imbeciles. That they are actually inadequate for the roles that
I
they're
just
put in.
mean like he's been bullied. So he cries and then decides never to
sucks
cry
up the
again.
tear. You forgot that part.
Sucks up the tear, and then he
uses every part of his brain
that wasn't
for just
emotional.
logic.
Yeah, and he just is like, "You've been smoking because you have tobacco on your hands," and then the whole school gets expelled.
Yeah, why are all these kids like? I mean, that was the hilarious part.
Delinquents. They're bullies.
They were in a preppy rich school.
It was like every kid.
Yeah, when he shows up, they say, "Hey, look, he looks poor."
They literally say that.
Like, how rude is that?
I like how they tried to make him seem as like smart and proper as possible because they're like, he had a suitcase with his initials on it. He was carrying a turtle with a violin on his back.
Yeah. God, I'm surprised they didn't smash that at some point.
She threw that turtle. She literally
No, I meant the
that.
violin.
No, I know.
I knew the turtle was going to get hurt.
But they literally threw the turtle.
That was hilarious. And then he's in that stupid like mechanism for him to walk
he had, like,
around
a wheelchair, but it was too high, so he couldn't even walk or something.
I mean, we could go on and on about all these ridiculous parts of this movie.
Every part. So
really, there was no parts of this movie that were spared. This movie was not void of parts that were just ridiculous.
So going into it, like I had read and heard about that it was awful. But then I heard like every post or every review I saw about it was that it was about somebody walking out.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think was the final straw? Like the line that was crossed where people were like,
gosh,
because I think there's a couple.
I think there's a couple that easily cut some people out. The vomiting one's an easy one.
And, which surprised me because when I saw that, I was like, that might be one of them. But that was pretty early on.
Yeah.
Like that was early in the movie.
Yeah, and by that point, like I was thinking to myself, because I had heard about I think you told me about it before we went into it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, okay, would I do that? Like if I was on my own and I paid for this movie and I was just not interested in it, is this worth my time? I was thinking, well, I've paid for this movie and I've sat through 20 minutes of it so far, which is really shitty that I'm not going to walk out 20 minutes into the movie, but I was thinking, like when they were going through that stuff, I was feeling sick. I wouldn't be surprised if some people were sick and then they had to leave. They had to physically remove themselves.
It's like the flashing lights scene in Incredibles 2.
Oh yeah.
When like people had epilepsy like outbreaks or whatever.
Yeah. Which I'm surprised they didn't see coming.
Yeah. But yeah, that part but that was pretty early on, you know.
Yeah, so
what
do you think?
I could see it. Well, definitely I think one of them is the climax of the movie, the pinnacle of comedy.
Yeah.
The sing-along. Well, it wasn't sing-along, but
it was like musical-esque.
Yeah, it was the duet musical between Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly,
which was like, way too reminiscent of the most budget Les Mis possible.
Yeah.
Like as though because like one of them's the prisoner and the other guy's been on. That's how Les Mis is, right? One of them's in prison. Yep.
Yeah, well, in the very beginning he's in prison, but then he gets out.
Yeah, I'm joking. But anyway.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, yeah, okay, I know what you're saying. I think that one was definitely one where people are like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, and especially because that's at the end of the movie. It's like
it was kind of towards the end.
It was very towards the end.
They still had to save Watson. That was. I mean,
you didn't even know who killed
them. It was probably
them.
2/3.
Yeah,
because they still had to. That was just when Watson was
like halfway through what you know, though, because like
everything else was a weird twist.
Yeah, it was everything. There was like 6 twists.
Yeah,
how did they do that? I mean, the fact that Watson got like why he claimed Watson was the bad guy was also one of the parts of the twist.
Yeah,
so
which was just weird too because it wasn't even Sherlock being smart. It was him actually just being an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I thought at least they would try to play that off like he knew it from the start or something, but it was actually just him being an idiot.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Watson.
And it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. Well, it's actually the plot of Sherlock Gnomes. Because that's what happens in that, is Watson's the bad guy.
And which is the funny
Spoiler
thing.
alert for Sherlock Gnomes.
Yeah. The funny thing about it is that, gosh, like, they took a lot of inspiration, from like the previous Sherlock movies, i.e. the Robert Downey Jr. one was very heavily.
Those.
Really?
Yeah.
In that movie, he plays a very boxer. Robert Downey Jr. Plays a spoiler again. We're just spoiling every Sherlock. By the way, just Sherlock. Any Sherlock movies on the table. So get out now.
How many are there?
I think there was 2 of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I knew there was 2 of that.
There's the whole Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
There's Sherlock Gnomes.
You can't forget that.
Probably the most important critical one.
I mean, there's a bunch of old ones, like
the books.
Those are my favorite movies. The books.
Which I'm surprised that in every single rendition of Sherlock, there's always the same people, right? Except for the
same characters.
Yeah, there's always Moriarty. There's always his brother. There's always Sherlock's brother. There's always obviously
Mycroft.
Mycroft, yeah. They didn't actually name him in this one.
No, they didn't.
They just said it's his brother.
Why was he like a hobo?
He looked totally homeless.
But he's in this like rich snobby like what? Oh, what's that real life Mensa? The real life like high.
Oh yeah, that
people.
1% club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other characters. Oh, the house lady, the lady that takes care of the. Spoiler alert, the lady that ends up trying to kill the queen.
Yeah. Gosh, what was her name?
It starts with like an H or something.
Yeah. Hobb? Mrs. Hobb?
No.
Hudson. You know, that's name.
Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah.
The lady that takes care of like, which, is that like, I mean, I guess back in the day, like 1800s, they had people that just took care of like
mean,
Because
especially
in the
with these
Benedict
two.
Cumberbatch one, I think she's like the landlord,
Yeah.
which is not as like sexist.
Yeah. But they still just brutalize her, which I find hilarious. I think that the characters...
Oh, that was the other one when they're punching each other with a mosquito, and then he like
Yeah.
like what was that? It was like a cricket bat, and he hits her over the head.
Yeah.
With
Yeah. There's just a lot of dumb slapstick humor that...
Well, again, we saw all of it coming. As soon as we saw the mosquito land on his face, we
Yeah.
both were like, "Oh, this is gonna be 5 minutes of them slapping each other."
Yeah. Which, that was, by the way, just putting some ideas on this. We saw this alone in a theater. You know, like, we were alone.
best
so we
way
had
to see it.
Exactly. This was the only way to see it. If we had not seen it alone, it would not have been as fun. Like, the theater was totally empty. We were just assholes to nobody because we were alone. And that's kind of my dream.
Well, yeah, if we had to stay quiet during this,
Oh, it would have been
torture.
not fun
Yeah.
at all. I mean, unless, like, other people were, like, laughing at shit ton too, but we wouldn't be able to talk. But
Yeah,
it was
definitely
way more
would've been.
fun being able to share, like, wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that.
Which is kind of interesting because I almost wish it would have been that, so we could actually be like everybody else, where it's like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a
Um,
lot of parts that, yeah, like you mentioned it just before that scene came out. They're just, it's going to be 5 minutes and
Yeah,
they're
they're just gonna
each other.
slap each other.
I didn't expect the bat. The bat was very sudden. It's like all of a sudden he has the bat in his hand and he's smacking
He just
him.
pulled it out and he's like hitting everybody with it.
I don't know. I loved every part of this movie because it was just so ridiculous and dumb.
But on that same note, like, yeah, it was so dumb and predictable. But then there was parts that was just unpredictable that was just stupid. Like the twist that we're talking about, where it's like when they revealed that Mrs. Hudson was the person, I was so confused. I don't know if that was just me, but
Yeah.
like Watson was getting cake from somebody,
Yeah.
then he was gone, but the cake was there. But then all of a sudden he's he's writing down something, but then he's still handcuffed.
Yeah, and he's not in his own house, but he's
Yeah,
writing
they're
on his
somewhere.
journal.
And then all of a sudden, like, by then, you know, we know what's going on, and she like ropes him to the gear. But what they were talking about, I was just so confused by. About she was like, oh, something about her dad, or no, Watson said something about her dad, and I was like, what is going on?
Oh yeah,
I was
that's
so
right.
confused. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like,
Which-
even you said that you thought Watson was going to be poisoned,
Yeah,
but then he was just gone, and the crumbs were still there.
yeah, because I was thinking, like, how did he eat the whole thing if he was poisoned?
Yeah, like he would have taken one bite and.
Die.
Oh my god, the poisoning scene where Sherlock poisons him, and it's just like
God, that was so
that
funny.
was the stupidest thing.
I love that part. He's just like, there's gonna be temporary brain damage.
Yeah.
How temporary?
That was the only one, or that was one of the ones that I meant when I said it was dumb slapstick humor that I didn't even find funny. Like, it was just too ridiculous. Where he was like, "Do I look fat in this?" It's like, okay, you took you took poison. You didn't take like LSD or something.
Yeah,
You know, like
I mean,
he was really acting like
that's why
the
I found it so funny.
lactation, like
Because it was just like, this is just so ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
not funny anymore, but then it went into the funny that's not funny. Or not funny that is funny again. Because, you know, it's funny that it's just ridiculous.
yeah, I guess
That's
Yeah,
why-
I didn't find
and
it like.
Will Ferrell I'm a big fan of Will Ferrell's movies just because I have this funny bone for him. Where I'm smart enough to realize this is lowbrow humor that's dumb.
What does that mean?
Oh my god, you get me every time with that. Holy. Anyway, you know, that I shouldn't be laughing at, and that's why it's funny, because it's just so ridiculous of why they're putting it in the movie, and then also like some parts are just I can find funny because I don't feel bad.
I don't know
about
why
laughing at
it
them.
was just maybe it was
I mean, I totally get these were not funny parts.
yeah.
Like-
well, I mean, but like to go off of that, like maybe it was just specifically because it was such an iconic character, such a well designed set.
Yeah,
Like it's why
it's surprising.
I wanted to like really because your brain I think just wants to take it seriously. Like the set and then the story and like the character, you want to take it seriously, but then it's
I
just
can't
these
look at-
American guys that we know. It's Will
Yeah.
Ferrell, and he's doing these crappy English accents
Wait, those are perfect.
that like
Those are real British accents.
that are like over exaggerated, and you know they're clearly being like, I'm being British, and it's like
I can't look at Will Ferrell's face and take anything seriously. I don't think if Will Ferrell actually proposed anything seriously to me in real life, I would just laugh. I don't know why. He just has his face now.
See, I'm
just
like that
anything
with-
he says.
I'm like that with Bill Murray. Like, I can't take Bill Murray seriously in like a serious role.
He just seems like a sarcastic asshole.
He's just so, like, if I was actually talking to him, I would be like, you're not being genuine at all with me. Like, that's just you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I love Bill Murray, but I think that's how I would take him in real life.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to take him seriously. Because he's by that point, you're just a caricature of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're known for being that guy.
Because you're always playing the same character.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
You know, we were saying that.
I mean, Adam Sandler's are the ones where, different. But
Yeah.
he plays different roles. But
Because
anyway.
Adam Sandler always has, like, his buddies that are always in his movies.
Once it became,
And
like, a studio production
this
thing.
is kind of what it's being like with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, is they've got, like, they did Step Brothers, and then that's kind of skyrocketed them into being like, oh, it's these two or that
God,
group.
I hated that movie.
And then, really? I've never seen it. I hear people love it,
I
though.
despised that movie.
I hear people love it.
I watched it with two people who were huge fans of the movie and literally gushed over it. And so
yeah.
when I watched it, I was like, I like Will Ferrell. When I watched it, I thought it was ridiculous because they would laugh hysterically at everything. And I was like, oh my God.
When they were watching the movie?
Yeah, like I was watching it with them, and it was like one of those things where it's like I just didn't find it funny anymore because they were hilariously laughing at it, and they'd been referencing it for years.
Oh my God.
And it's like, Jesus, stop. But I think it's a funny movie. I've heard the funny parts, but
We're only like 15 minutes in, and I don't know what else to say.
well, that's it. That's all my idea for the movie. I guess we're done here, boys. 15-minute episode.
But yeah, like, it really was. I think I want to take it seriously because of the set. The set actually was really well done. I mean, I don't know what Sherlock was wearing. Like, his wardrobe was so extravagant.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, we haven't even talked about the Queen. Like,
I don't want it.
How Watson was so in love with the Queen.
God,
that was one of the ones that was like,
one of the ones I didn't find funny either.
It was just so dumb that I didn't find it funny.
It was weird watching a man grovel like this.
Maybe at first, when they first met him, because for British people,
that was cringy funny.
But when they first met, because for British people, meeting the Queen is like the biggest thing you can do, and so it's like, at first I can understand it being funny of him being like, oh, I'm meeting the Queen, like, oh, I'm so in love with you, but then it kept running, and it kept going,
and they never dropped it, and then it got weird when she died, quote unquote.
And then like the party. With his birthday cake. Oh my God, the man sliding out of the cake. Why did they have to keep replaying that scene?
God, what?
Oh yeah,
that was the worst thing. As soon as I heard the noise, there's a body in there. That's what I said out loud. I was like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, and that goes back to us, like, it being predictable humor.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, and then he's like, oh, raspberry filling. And it's like, okay, there's
exactly.
In there.
And he didn't taste it, so like,
Yeah.
but I was expecting him to taste it and be like, that's not raspberry.
Yeah.
Watson, find out the meaning of this. Chop it in half. And he chops it and, oh, there's a man. I don't know. That was another scene that I was like, that's disgusting. Can you imagine stabbing a dead body? And then he eats it. That was hilarious. I love that part. It's like, there was a dead man in there.
There's a corpse in there. He's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then that's my favorite part. Is Sherlock, Will Ferrell, is actually visibly disgusted still. Like, it wasn't one of those that they just play off like, oh yeah, I guess to each their own. He was oh man, you're filthy. And Watson was just, I don't give a shit. It was good cake.
And then they go into the morgue, and then we have the whole
vomit
scene. It was so long. It was like 5 minutes.
And the onions were sometime between the start of the movie and the onion scene was.
Oh yeah, he's like, it helps red blood cells. Which, is that real? I
don't imagine anything that was medical in this movie is dead ass wrong. There's not a single medical fact in this movie that was true.
I don't know. I think we should look it up. I think onions, it might actually help red blood cells.
Remember when he said, remember in like that one place when I beat that thing? Yeah, syphilis. You can't beat syphilis.
That was in the fight scene when they were in the boxing match.
Can you? Wait, is syphilis an infection? I think it's an infection.
I haven't had it, so I don't know.
Well, you don't need to have it just to know about it. There's a lot of doctors that were just offended by you right there. I'm sorry if any of them are listening right now.
What does doctor mean in America?
DOCTOR?
That was just, that whole introduction was so weird. Oh my God. And then the girl.
Especially with him holding the sloshing bucket of vomit. Like, can you imagine introducing yourself in a more pitiful way than holding your own vomit bucket?
These like pretty American women. And like And they're doctors.
Yeah, and you're insulting them. Oh, this is a real doctor.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what the Jesus, man.
I'm surprised they didn't. They showed the first part of him throwing up. I'm surprised they didn't show all of it. Like they cut off the rest of like off screen.
Yeah,
like, I'm surprised they didn't show all of it.
I was so glad.
Projectile.
I was getting sick. I was half expecting. This is another thing. There was a couple moments where there was the easy play of what they would do if it was a lesser movie. You know, I mean,
lesser than this.
Yes, there were lesser things you could have done. You could have brought the shit wiping scene to like a full 15 minutes, where he's wiping on his face, and then he's like, "Wait, I'm getting sick," and
then the party scene. Like where they
that
had
could have
the whole,
been
like,
grosser.
DJ
they could have
party
had, like,
scene. I mean, they kind of just danced.
Had a whole prostitute scene. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
You know, they could have had a lot of things that were not appropriate, which is hilarious to say. But still, nonetheless, we continue on. What were we talking?
We're jumping all over. We were talking about the doctors. The autopsy.
Oh God,
he's covered in cake.
That was filthy. That was disgusting. They have this like romantic ass movie. This always gets me in the mood. And Jesus, they're eye banging each other like the whole time.
They totally like
they're rubbing this guy, this dead man, in sensual places with these sponges. It was nasty.
Oh, he straight up rubbed his hands all
His
over
nipples.
his mustache and then the nipples.
That was not appropriate.
Yeah, it was awful. And that was a close zoom in.
Yeah.
Like that was like the
and it
camera
was
up
long.
close. I wonder what studio tech they hired to lay there covered in cake batter.
Imagine, I cannot imagine being one of these actors.
Oh, like John C. Reilly having to rub his hands all over that.
Was that what did they do for this? Do they have a real
That was definitely
person
a real person
who's alive and they're just rubbing him?
For sure, yeah.
Sensually.
The queen part, that was fake. You could see that it was a dummy. But like the autopsy part was real.
Well, yeah, the queen part, they basically. I'm sorry. Every couple seconds, every once in a while, we keep coming up on these scenes, and we both remember them, and it's just so ridiculous that's what I like about this movie, is that it's ridiculous. You can laugh at it.
Yeah.
And it knows that. That's what it is. It's here to laugh at it. It's not here for you to laugh with and think that was a great movie. That's not what these movies are. These movies are to be so ridiculous that you find them ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Scott. You don't laugh at him because, oh, wow, that could totally happen in real life. No, you laugh at him because that could never happen. No one could be that obscenely blind and cause so much damage to so many people. Anyway, but, yeah, I don't know.
You didn't like the autopsy.
The autopsy, I was scared they were going to start cutting into
Yeah,
him.
I thought they would actually show something.
Admittedly, I was glad that they did not cut into him and that they just rubbed him sensually.
I mean, they totally did it, though, right?
No, I don't think in canon they did it.
But
the canon in this movie.
They insinuated that they did. Like when they walked out, they were like, "Stop!" They were like all giggly and like hurt.
Yeah, but weren't there several references to the fact that he was trying to bang her?
Oh, maybe.
You know, later in the movie, especially with the drunk
picnic
telegram.
Scene? Oh,
that was so funny. I loved that.
that one was genuinely funny.
See, I like those that were like they were like commenting on modern day stuff, you know, even though it's ridiculous. But that was what this movie was, you know. And I'm surprised that they, just for starters, that Watson and Holmes, they chose these two characters because yes, they're very formal, very serious taken.
Which is probably what the idea was. Let's break them down.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just destroy their image.
Well, yeah, they were probably like, what? Other than like James Bond, what like stuck up like?
There's already been done by Get Smart. So
I didn't see that.
It's by what is it? Well, Steve Carell. He does Get Smart.
Oh, I'm thinking Johnny English with
who's that?
Rowan Atkinson, the guy who plays Mr. Bean. That's it's like a British one.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know
Johnny
what you're
English.
talking about, yeah.
But yeah, that's probably what the idea was. Is like, let's take this like really noble like posh character. Let's just break him down.
Yeah, exactly.
To like partying and being excited to see the Titanic.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of that, but like that was another funny one where it's like modern day yeah, obviously we all know.
We all know what happens to that ship.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
But yeah,
it
they're like
sinks.
they're sending it off on like the safest vessel or something.
Yeah.
What was the other part? Oh, so we kind of talked about it, the Queen dying scene. I mean, it was obviously they didn't actually kill her, but
I thought they had.
The straight up, really?
I mean, I was like, towards the end, I was starting to doubt whether I was like, oh well, he could obviously not be a doctor, you know, well, not a good doctor, and not have known. But for a second, I thought they were gonna pull something out of their asses, where they were gonna puppet her around, like, you know. Anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe from the first split second where she got hit, I thought there was going to be some sort of repercussions, like whether they got in trouble or she's actually dead. But like, the selfie.
I knew they would not be in trouble. Somehow I knew that they would get away with it because, you know, what did they get? The story's over.
Oh, that's another modern day joke. The selfie.
Yeah.
Where he like holds up that old timey camera.
Who's gonna take the portrait? Oh, well, I will. I will take it, but I will also be.
See, if they had dropped it at that, they went a little too far with the duck face.
I thought that was still funny.
I thought that was a little too far. Where like they should have just left it at a selfie joke.
No.
But then like he's like, oh, we should go over to the lighting. Like the lighting's better. And then he hits her in the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like they're like puppeting her to the guards, stuffing her in the cabinet and all this stuff. Oh, they're taking her to the bathroom, and then they slam her into the pillar.
Oh yeah.
Which that was kind of a dumb idea. Like stuff her down the toilet and pretend like she never like. You could have thought
That's
of
like a
anything
child's
else.
like yeah.
There
were a lot of ridiculous parts of that scene, like when they're trying to stuff her in the box.
Yeah, and he's dry humping her.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's obviously not the way you would get a dead person into a box.
And the box was like easily big enough for
Yeah.
her. And they're like, we can't
They just
fit
needed
her
to
in
put
there.
her arm
Yeah.
into it and then close it. Then I thought it was just hilarious. They're going to cut her up. I knew that instantly. Like, this isn't going to work. And then I was surprised they started with her head. They were going to start with her head.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the easiest part to fit into the box. Like, her legs would be the first to go.
Yeah, you would do like limbs.
Here, on this segment, we're telling you how to be serial killers, how to easily chop up victims and disintegrate their... Anyway. Yikes, we're going to stop right there. Discontinued segment. Yeah, that Queen scene was pretty ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it was all ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's true.
The one like talking about stuff that was dumb and stayed dumb, like it wasn't funny for me at least, was the girl that was just like
that was just
she was supposed to be like, I mean, I guess she said that she had electroshock therapy and she was supposed to be like the mind of a 4-year-old.
She had the mind of a 4-year-old, and she said she wanted a cure so that she had the mind of a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like,
but that was another one that like the Watson with the Queen. It was kind of funny at first, and then they just kept it going.
And it went too far.
Then Sherlock fell in love with her, and it was like,
I mean, I thought she was a funny character just because she was that ridiculous character that was always doing something that was just ridiculous. Like,
but that's what I didn't like. It pulled me out of the scene.
Makes sense.
She would catch my eye, and she'd just make some stupid face. And
or she'd pull an onion herself out of wherever and
started
eating it too, and it's like, what? First of all, does Sherlock just keep onions in his...
Yeah, I guess he was just carrying that.
And after having vomited, that's the first thing you want to do is eat a raw onion? And plus, why was he crying? Isn't that awful for you?
What?
Cutting onions makes you cry.
I actually don't cry during onions.
You're a dead liar.
No, I swear to God.
Well, you've never cut onions then.
Yeah, we have. We actually were just cooking them.
Okay, cut one right now.
I don't have an onion on me right now. If I had an onion on me right now, we would be sharing it and trying to eat it whole and see what would happen.
And see if we would gain more red blood cells.
Yeah, there we go. We'll have a test about it. But yeah, no, I actually don't cry during onions. While cutting onions. Hey, so whoever makes my Wikipedia page, make sure you write that down. That I don't cry.
Whoever writes my biography for me. Yeah, we're definitely that famous.
At what point are you that famous you have a Wikipedia page? How come we don't have it? We've done a couple episodes now. Why don't we
come
have
on, guys.
Page?
Make a wiki page. Get it done.
We've given you so much free content.
Yeah, like 11 episodes that were...
Well, way to date us.
Oh, okay, well,
They
they
could
could
totally
just
see.
they could just go on and see. Oh, this is the 12th episode that they posted. Wow.
Wait, how much would that blow your mind if we like post this and then look at later and we have Wikipedia pages like somebody actually did it, and the only part on it is for me doesn't cry during Onions.
And then mine will just be like, I don't know, something stupid like, oh, afraid of horses.
Yeah, there we go.
Lives on the first floor. I've admitted a lot of personal information actually of this. Some dedicated fans will have to get on
People
that.
know somewhere you live on the first floor.
Somewhere in the world. Just check the first floor of every building you find. Well, I'm not encouraging you to come find me.
Yeah, they're gonna check every first floor now. Honestly, I don't have much more to say besides that, though. It was so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, we could just continue talking about parts that we found funny, but I mean, I think we've covered most of them that we found funny.
Yeah, it was just funny, like, because it was so dumb.
Yeah.
But like we said, like, I would definitely never watch this again.
Oh, easily. This is not my favorite Will Ferrell movie. It's one of
I'm
those
not watching
one and
this.
done, you know?
And if so, it's 10 years from now, and somebody's like, oh, I never watched that. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, and you watch it with a bunch of buddies where
Yeah.
you're just making fun of it the whole time.
Yeah. And even
Or
then,
talking over it.
then, I would be on my phone the whole time. Or whatever tech we have in 10 years.
Yeah.
I'd be looking through the, like, contact lenses that Apple makes by then.
Hopefully I'll have a bionic eye by then.
So, speaking of rewatching, what's your selected scene?
Oh, okay.
What's your scene that's going to stick with you?
It's definitely going to be everything that happens from when they first pick up the pints in the bar
Oh, really?
to the drunk. The drunk
Telegraph?
The
That's
drunk
not like
telegraph.
a scene, though. That's a whole length. So, if you had to pick, like, the telegraph scene?
It'd be the telegraph scene. I found it was just very modern, and it was an actually funny part. It was
Yeah, it was funny enough where it was like, oh, like, that's modern day humor. Okay, because let's compare the two modern day humors. There was a modern day humor of that, which was very funny. It was like drunk texting is a
There
thing.
were a lot
and all
of
that stuff.
modern day humor.
But then, no, I'm just comparing them.
Oh, yeah.
So that one was an actual funny example. A non-funny example is the "Make England Great Again" hat.
or the selfie was in, but that
one was okay. The make England Great Again one, I just thought was
Yeah.
kind of dumb.
It was just a bunch of political garbage.
Yeah,
especially
and then
when
there
they
was
started.
one with the American lady,
Yeah.
where she was like talking about democracy, and she's like, "We don't just let anybody run the country." That was like a couple minutes of just making fun of Trump.
Yeah, it was really kind of just making fun of all of us.
I mean, it was specifically making fun of him, though, for sure.
Yeah,
Because they specifically said
mean,
we don't just
those
let
are the
any
same
random
arguments that
businessman get
yeah,
on and like all
yeah.
that stuff.
And
But-
then, like, obviously the two idiots, Dumb and Dumber, are saying, like, I'd really like a businessman.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
who's... A showman would be great. I really love showman. And it's like,
But then,
okay.
like, other funny ones. Oh, one that I did like that was really subtle was that it was like at the very beginning where it was where Sherlock grows up. So it was right after the intro scene, and the guy reads a paper or something like that, and he says that's fake news and slaps it back at the
Yeah.
paper boy. That one was kind of just subtle and funny.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was a jab at Trump, but it was still funny to me. But it was modern day humor. But yeah, comparison wise, the drunk text one, telegraph one, was funny modern day humor. Like,
Yeah.
that was a long scene too.
It was a good one, too. I mean, it's the classic stuff you hear. It's like, wait, should I really be doing this right now? And it's like, dude, you're sending out the telegraph
Yeah.
right now. Like,
Oh, but
it's already
then
been
I thought
transmitted.
it went a little too long where he was like, send this picture. Because it's like, it's a telegraph, man. Like, come on. Like, that part I thought it went a little
I think
too
they
far.
mentioned something. I think we both missed the last thing that was
Yeah,
said
we
in
did.
that exchange.
We were talking during that.
Yeah.
We didn't hear what he last said.
And I think it would have clarified, like, yeah, I really can't do that. Or something like
Maybe.
that. It's like, I'm not even able to send pictures. And it's like, well,
He's
that makes
literally
sense.
using Morse code telegraph.
Which, he was doing that way too fast.
He was good at it. That was his job.
Yeah, but, like, where is this other telegraph person that's supposed to be getting it? Is he that good? Probably.
I don't know.
Are there
modern
qualities?
day humor, the gun joke that the American ladies just would use
I
a gun.
love that. I always love
Oh,
it.
they were like the American ladies can't be the murderer because they would have just used a gun.
Yeah. Oh, man.
My selected scene, I think, is the vomit scene. It was just the most outlandish, like, because there was one, earlier with like the mosquito, where it was just a little much and it went on a little too long. But that one was where I was just like, okay, this is where it's just degraded to the very basis of just like dumb humor.
Yeah.
Because then like Watson started throwing up too.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, okay, that's definitely mine that I'm gonna think of that.
Wait, Watson didn't vomit.
I thought he did.
No.
At least once.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. He was getting sick, but he didn't vomit.
Oh, maybe I guessed that he would.
I was guessing that
I'm
he would too.
surprised they didn't. If they didn't,
that's another thing.
I'm not remembering right. If they didn't, I'm very surprised they didn't.
Yeah, like, that's the thing is I was going to go into it, but we've been jumping all over the place because it's just such a ridiculous movie. Like, in a lesser movie, there's a lesser movie? Yes, there is. They would have made both of them just vomit over this
for like 5 minutes.
For like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that wasn't the worst thing. It wouldn't have been the worst scene in the movie.
But yeah, I think that one's going to stick with me.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not really much to say. I mean, those two scenes, were pretty memorable. I mean, those are probably my two.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a fantastic film. Great way to start off the year.
What an amazing way. I mean, technically it was released last year, 2018, but we
watched it this year.
It's going to be posted and watched this year, 2019. So,
yeah.
Yeah, what a way to start off.
What a way to go. Whew.
Oh.
I'm surprised that there were not more people in the theater with us.
I'm shocked. After all the rave reviews that it's getting.
The whopping 7%.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Which I have never heard a score that low. Critics always hate to give something that low of a score.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, guys, if you want to let us know your score, if it's above or below 7.
How many tomatoes would you give this?
Let us know at our email, themidnightshowingpod@gmail.com. Our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is all the same at The Midnight Showing. And our Twitter is backwards. It's at Showing Midnight. And let us know what you thought about it, if you even watched this movie.
That's a thing that I was thinking about. I can't imagine too many people are actually watching. So it's like, who's going to listen
honestly,
to this?
if we weren't watching this for the show,
I wouldn't have
even wanted, period, to like even think about seeing it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So,
I would have thought about it, but I would have been like, it's not worth $10.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched it. Well, I guess it's only downhill from here, huh? This is the pinnacle of our careers.
Really? I mean, it's not even just this year. That's a sad thing.
This beats out Rampage, for sure.
Oh. Sadly, I think that's true. Rampage sucked.
Yeah, this is the pinnacle of our careers. It's only downhill from here. We can't get any better than this.
Yeah.
People say like, Schindler's List, Citizen Kane is the #1 movie of all time. They hail it as the greatest. Titanic. No, this is it. This is the top.
I mean, our generation is really lacking in very iconically good movies, so...
Yeah. Hey, no CGI. This is like revolutionary.
All real. That man was real.
Okay, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye!